Stylized Animation, the IP value chain of India's upcoming animated feature films. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. May I please have on stage Vaibhav Kumaresh. He's the founder and creative director of Vaibhav Studios. His animated film Return to the Jungle is also part of our Film Bazaar Recommends, and he's also in the viewing room. So for those of you who have access, please do check out his project. It's absolutely phenomenal. We also have with us Mr. Sumitra Ranade, the co-founder and CEO of Paperboat Design Studio. Sumitra, please join us on stage. We have Rituparna Sarkar, the creative director, Visual Sarcasm. Unfortunately, Rajiv Chilaka was not able to join us because of some illness, but replacing Rajiv, and what a fabulous replacement, is Saraswati Bani Belgam, the creative director and CEO of Dancing Atom. She's here from LA. And last but not least, we have our fantastic moderator, Mr. Munjal Shroff, co-founder of Graphiti Studios, co-chair of FICCI AVGC-XR Forum. Please give him a round of applause. Mr. Shroff, I'll let you take it from here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Munjal from Graphiti Studios. Thank you all so much, all those who are present here. Thank you, Film Bazaar, for putting this together. Animation is finally getting the prominence that it deserves. I think it's great to see tremendous amount of focus coming in from the government in the form of National AVGC policy that's coming up, the National Center of Excellence that's been announced. So the entire animation ecosystem is finally getting a much-deserved shot in the arm. Obviously, VFX, there's a lot already happening in that space, gaming as well, what's happening in the space. But today, this panel we're talking about stylized animation. And when we talk about stylization, I don't think it's just limited to just the visual styling. Style can be your narrative style, the way you want to tell your story, the music, the performances, the voice acting. There's a lot of style that comes through, particularly in animation storytelling in various formats. And we have an absolutely amazing panel today for you guys. Literally, people who've been there, done that, both domestically as well as internationally. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little show and tell. And what we'll do is I'm going to ask each of the panelists to play their clip and talk a little bit about that project and sort of also introduce themselves. So the way we're going to do this is spend about 5 minutes. Each one of us is going to show you something and talk through that. And then subsequently, we'll obviously have questions. And then obviously, we would like you to engage as well in the Q&A. So let's get started with Vaibhav Kumaresh. Do we have all the animation clips queued in? Okay, Vaibhav, Return of the Jungle. That's the one you want to show?
No, before that, I would just like to share our reel.
Please, go ahead. All yours.
We're an animation studio based in Mumbai. It's a very small studio. And basically storytellers using different mediums of art for animation. So let's start with the show. We'll tell more later. So a small reel of the kind of work that we do. So can we play the very first clip, please?
Boys!
that's a quick lineup of the kind of work that we do. It's a lot of IPs that we create and a lot of commissioned work. That's all our bread and butter projects. So now, over the years, these are different formats. Our heart has, always, we were wanting to work on longer stories. So we've been working on our feature film for many years. So again, there's so 2 days ago, we premiered the film at FICCI finally. So the entire team that worked on it has been also raising the funds to make the film. So finally, after many, many years of production, the film got over, and we were very happy that it premiered here. So we can see a small, a trailer of that film. It's called Return of the Jungle. It's a Hindi animation feature-length film. So we can see the next clip.
धरती के कई विशाल वनों में से ये एक ऐसी जगह है जहां
अबे वो छोड़
इस फ्राइडे को फैंसी ड्रेस कंपटीशन है।
तू पार्ट ले रहा है? इस बार का फाइनल जीतना है।
क्रिकेट फाइनल्स की ट्रॉफी कौन जीतेगा?
ताता, इस साल ट्रॉफी का कोई चांस नहीं लग रहा।
मुझे नहीं लेना पार्ट फैंसी ड्रेस में।
लेकिन मैच का क्या होगा?
मैं क्या बन सकता हूँ ताता?
अब मैं तुम्हें एक सीक्रेट बात बताता हूँ। जो बाहर से दिखता है वो हमेशा सच नहीं होता, पर अगर आप अंदर से स्ट्रांग हो तो बाहर से जो चाहो बन सकते हो।
अब बस एक ही चारा है।
हेलो
कैसे हो?
तुम लोगों की मैच में धजिया नहीं उड़ाई ना? मेरा नाम भी राहुल मल्होत्रा नहीं।
यार आप क्या करेंगे यार? मेरे पास एक ब्रिलियंट आइडिया है। मदर भैया टेंशन मत लो।
जी तुम्हारी ही होगी।
तू जीतेगा, चुप कर यार।
संगीत की ना कदर ही नहीं है।
क्या हो गया तुझे? इन लोग को देख के तो मेरा दिल भर आया। अरे यार
So I'm done. That's been our journey. Like, we started with lots of short and multiple formats. Now we're very happy that we've told a longer story, and our acid test will happen now when the audience sees it. So that's going to be the learning for us.
Right. So I had the privilege of actually watching your film, and I must say it really touched me. Brilliant work. I think another round of applause for Weber, please. I mean, it takes tremendous amount of effort to make an animation film. It requires tremendous amount of guts to put your own money, and he's done that. So really, truly happy for you, Weber. And I think the reel that Weber showed for us is truly exemplary of the diversity and richness of styles that you get to see. I think one of the things that I really like about Weber's work is the way he plays with the voice, voice acting bit. I think Mandar Bhai to pura rock star hai. I think it's that nuance of capturing the character, and at a certain level also the diversity of India. The kind of characters we get to see, very relatable characters, very believable characters. And when you see some of Weber's work and say, yeah, I think I know this guy. And I think that kind of instinctive connect is, I think, truly hallmark of Weber's work. I think people immediately resonate with the characters he creates. So, great work, Weber. Soumitra, your turn.
So yeah, we started Paperboat about 10 years back, little more than that actually, and we've done all kinds of things. We've done feature films and TV series and And we three are, me, Ashish, and Mayank are partners here, and all of us have distinct identities and very strong aesthetic styles. So we thought we should start a studio so that we all can express our own feelings or whatever. And it is also for outside directors who come into our studio, like Geetanjali and Shilpa and Anamika Aksar. So, but in the last few years, I've been drawn towards adult themes, more mature themes of violence, of anger, depression, and stuff like that. So I've been working in that space recently, and I just finished a 5-minute film. It's called As a Man, and I'd like to show a 1-minute trailer of the film first.
Can we have Samita's clip, please?
As a man, you must be thinking. You must be thinking about the way you look at a woman. As a man, you must be thinking what it does to a woman when you desire violence, when you devastate her to give a most gruesome form to your anger, to your sense of self-loathing and self-disgust. You must be thinking sometime how sick your mind has become. As a man, you must be thinking.
So yeah, it's already done. Now we are working on a web series which deals with living in a urban space, like a urban city, like Bombay, New York, London. So I'd like to show you a little clip of that. It's a web series, so yeah, you can show the other one.
Embracing desire in a world that is new. When no word is spoken, no tale has been told. Time to tell in silence the secrets we hold. Damn this city, it's too late to make a man. Damn you city, let me tell you this is the end. This is the end.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I think it's very interesting, Samita, that you've now looking at producing, directing animation, which is for an adult audience. And I think at a certain level, it's also showing a maturity within the industry now that we are now also targeting adults. I think the age of OTTs is definitely helping the Indian audience mature at a certain level, and it's great that projects of this nature can even be thought or conceived. And I want to come back to you later on the commercial aspect of it, but I think looks stellar. Vani, so obviously you've been on an amazing journey, starting with VFX, and now obviously you're doing a whole bunch of very, very interesting things on animation. So really looking forward to what you want to share with the audience today.
think there's a small clip that is not much, but you can see. I actually love telling very sweet little stories about children and their journeys. I think I never want to grow old, so I love writing for preschool. So I'll show you a couple of projects. 2 of them are short films, and eventually it'll turn into a game. And the other one is a preschool show that got selected in Annecy last year. So there's a small clip there, so you can see that. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Can you have Vani's clips, please?
Well, any ideas? Why don't we call Ganu? Right! Ganu! Wow! We have to save him! Ganu! Did you eat it? Did you eat it?
Very sweet. You want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I love
Ganu
making-
looks very interesting. So.
Thank you. Ganu is actually a project that my father had written many, many years ago. It's about children and imagination, and Ganu was always our, invisible friend that we had when me and my brother were growing up. So I always wanted to capture that invisible friendship that we always had. And so the story kind of evolved to make sure that the childlikeness kind of comes out. In terms of technology and stuff, a lot of great things are happening where you don't have to spend the huge amount of money that we were spending earlier.
Yeah.
So I've been using a lot of cloud in terms of putting my machines on the cloud and only accessing when I need them.
Right.
So my infrastructure costs have come down quite a bit, and
Correct.
using a lot of the real-time game technology.
Yeah, I mean, with Unreal, I think it's definitely changing the whole paradigm of how we produce. And I know you've done some very interesting work with Unreal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also want to especially mention that one of my feature films got selected into the co-production market here at Film Bazaar. It's called Neelu, Denied to be Born. Thank you very much. And there's also wonderful Gitanjali. Gitanjali's film is also here in the co-production market. So we are very, very excited that the spotlight is on the animation this year. And even if there are very few films, and I hope that changes and more films come into, markets like this, and we get to travel all around the world. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Rituparna, you want to tell us about the work that you are doing, and you're also developing an IP, so maybe.
Hello, am I audible? Hello, audible, right? Okay, great. I would like to just start. Okay, so my name is Rituparna Sarkar. I'm the founder and creative director of a small animation design studio called Visual Sarcasm, based out of Bombay. So in terms of the work I do, I'll just show you a little glimpse soon. But I also wanted to say that from last year, I'm also a co-founder of something that we've created, keeping all of these problems that we face in the animation industry in mind. It's called the Animators Guild India, or AGI. How we started, like basically our vision was to sort of, unify the entire animation landscape a little bit, starting with even the youngest, the graduates that graduate from design schools and the younger students who require some mentorship. So what we felt is that, there's a little bit of a scatteredness in the industry. There are pockets of really nice work happening from, say, smaller studios and, not so many, they don't know how to, navigate the way. So that's how we started. And last year we were able to, hold our version of an animation film festival. We are hoping to continue that, and we are very happy to see, this year, so many, like Vani said, so much animation being part of FICCI and Film Bazaar. So yeah, that's about the animation landscape. At Visual Sarcasm, basically, I've spent about 14 to 15 years working with the television and media industry, which means a lot of our work has been purely commercial. So we've worked with channels like Disney, Nickelodeon. We've also worked with direct brands like Red Bull India, Asian Paints. So even some NGOs who need, stories to be told. So what our journey has been is also experimenting a lot with every brief that comes in. So that's, I think, where we've been able to explore various styles. So our uniqueness, I would say, is being able to mix things up. So we've done 2D, stop motion, mixed media. And if truth be told, often under abysmal budgets and crazy timelines. So what we found is that we like experimenting with style, and so we've tried to convince every client that, hey, let's do it this way. Why not do it this way? And and there's a term in India called jugaad, which we all know. So to do stop motion, how do you find small fixes? How do you even, I remember there was a time when we used to, before Dragon Frame and all became popular, we used to literally stick a transparent sheet on the projector and draw our arcs and divisions and plan it like that. So yeah, so that's been our journey. I'll just start with 4 small slides. I won't take too long, and then play 2 small clips. That's it.
Sure.
Next slide, yeah. So essentially, this is just to give you an overview of the kind of work we do. So some of these have been, say, films for brands like Skoda, which are like mood films when they launch a car. How do you create that? A lot of them are mood films, some are music videos. Some of them have been even public service awareness films, like safety on the roads. So a lot of them, over time, actually, our work has been associated with a little bit of quirky humor, little bit of, quirk. So basically, now we get a lot of brands coming to us to create quirky stuff. So for Red Bull, we created a 10-episode original series, but it was a commissioned project where we took real stories of famous people and turned them into animation. So that's something that's on Red Bull TV currently playing. Next slide, please. Again, so if you can see a lot of mixed media, these are some of, so we've done a lot of show packaging for BBC, TLC, for food shows. We love working on food-related shows and stuff because that's where we felt we can also experiment a whole lot because everybody at some level, is drawn to food as a topic. And so, the one at the bottom right is for a show called Ravinder's Kitchen, which had won an award, and we managed to, mix it up from live footage and tell the story of a life in animation. I guess that's what we mostly do, right? Whatever can't be completed in live action, then gets showed in animation. Next slide. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Munjal just, I can call you Munjal, right?
Please.
Yeah, okay. So
You
Munjal
don't know to
just...
make me feel so old.
Yeah, you just respect and old and like it all. Anyway, so yeah, so this is basically, so now finally we are developing some IP in-house. it's at a very early stage, this is a feature film concept. Our idea was to literally take stories that are set in India, play on like very regional, nuances that only Indians honestly associate, but yet at the same time, some aspects are very universal, right? So say the role of an Indian woman or an Asian woman for that matter. So this concept is, this is a concept that we're coming up with. We have a whole screenplay script written right now. It's about a lady called Tara Menon, a Bengali lady married into a Malayali family. So we want to show a lot of like different ethnicities that India is about. So this is, and it's about a balance of, the overarching theme is a balance of tech and old school. So a lot of hustle and slow living, and how does a woman fit in the middle of all of it in a very modern Indian setting, like based in any city. So this is the situation we've grown up in, and we've obviously made a fantasy, exaggerated, feature film about it. Next slide. Yeah, and this is the other IP that I wanted to speak about, which currently we've just sent them for festivals. I mean, we just developed one pilot. Since we are talking about stylized animation, the idea of the series is, it's an anthology series. We just want to sort of celebrate a lot of old, historic, but very loved Indian brands that we all grew up with. And some of these brands are known for 100 years, and usually the founders, there are anecdotes, there are journeys, there are very interesting historical facts. And because they're 100 years old, there's a lot of history and transition, and like most of India is a melting pot. So the idea was to basically take short, like brands that we know. And our first season, again, is about food and beverage brands, because food is like a favorite. So, so the first episode, so for example, if any of you are from Bombay, which a lot of you will be, you would be familiar with the restaurant called Britannia & Co. So it's a Parsi restaurant, very well known in India. And so this episode basically takes the story of how the Iranians had migrated to India, and how it, they had come here and stuff. So what we plan to do is, with each episode, basically we take a different style to celebrate, the story itself. So which is why this Persian miniature style, we've mixed it with some contemporary, this thing. So yeah, in terms of stylized stuff, I thought that's a series worth sharing. And I think I've overrun my time, so I'll save on the clips.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. How long is it?
It's 1 minute.
Okay, let's play it. Quick.
Just play the first clip, that's fine. It just gives an overview of the work again, that's it.
I was like, wow, welcome to 21st century communication, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a very, very interesting collection of work. So, my turn. So I think one of the things among a host of projects that we've done since we're talking about stylized animation. One of our really interesting projects is a series of movies called Krish Trish Balti Boy. Probably a lot of you would have seen it. It's a very unique project where it started from a place of exposing Indian children to the folk arts of India, the lost folk arts of India, the folk stories of India, music, and I think also the diversity. I mean, simple things like the way Hindi is spoken across India is different, across different states of India. So I'm gonna just play a clip of about 3 minutes of Krish Trish Balti Boy, which basically has very different styles of art. And over the series of these 8 movies that we've done, we've covered about and we've restored about 15 different lost art forms of India. So can we play the first clip, please?
Right this way, enjoy your stay here, Mango Manor, with Deepa and Anoop, with Deepa and Anoop. We all say a perfect days when we are all together, with Deepa and Anoop, with Deepa and Anoop. Come on in and join the fun, plenty of room for everyone. Need some help, our family's here. Ready, set, go, let's give a cheer. Namaste will turn your day from good to great. Come celebrate with Deepa and Anoop. I'm Deepa, he's Anoop.
Okay, so that was very interesting mix-up. So that's the Netflix original that we produced. So I'm the creator of this award-winning Netflix original. Again, it's about a young girl called Deepa and her pet elephant, which changes color. And I think it's truly one of the Indian IPs that kind of crossed over, released in 27 languages. It's possibly one of the only shows which won 4 Kids Screen Awards this year: Best New Show, Best Inclusivity, Best Voice, Best Music. And I think it kind of celebrates Indian culture, food, festivals, all of it, and done in a very interesting manner. And I think it's a project that I'm personally very, very excited about, and it's great to see the love that it's got. And this was created ground up for the international market. And I mean, I would urge you all to watch it because it is stylized in a very unique manner, has a very distinct look, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so successful. Can we have the other clip, please?
अरे वाह ट्रिश, ये चित्र तो बहुत सुंदर है।
हाँ बाल्टी बॉय, जानते हो ऐसी चित्रकला को ठांका कहा जाता है।
तो आज हम इस शैली की कौन सी कहानी सुनने वाले हैं ट्रिश?
दोस्ती की ऐसी दास्तान जिसे हिमालय के पहाड़ों पर बसने वाले लोग आज भी याद करते हैं। यहाँ की हसीन वादियों में पाया जाता है घुघुटी नाम का एक सुंदर पक्षी।
वाह वाह घुघुटी, बढ़िया परफॉर्मेंस।
थैंक यू।
वो दिन दूर नहीं जब आप चुगेंगे दाना दुनका और घुघुटी मोती खाएगा।
इस घुघुटी को तो सबक सिखाना ही होगा।
ठीक है, अपने बंधु के लिए मैं उस साधु की विश जरूर पूरा करूंगा।
गुड लक घुघुटी।
अरे वाह, ये तो मधुबनी पेंटिंग है ना?
बिल्कुल सही पहचाना बाल्टी बॉय।
जम्बो भैया, हमारी जो हालत है ना वो तुम्हारी वजह से हुई है बस।
और हमारी चिंपू की वजह से। हाँ।
और हमारी वो बिल्ली की वजह से।
ये लोग इधर ही आ रहे हैं। यानी कैट वहाँ पे अटैक हो। भाग लो बिल्लो रानी।
ओह, तो आज की तुम्हारी कहानी राजस्थान की प्रसिद्ध शैली मुगल मिनिएचर्स पर आधारित है।
बिल्कुल राजकुमार रणविजय की तरह।
मुझे चाहिए एक ऐसी पत्नी जो सुंदर के साथ हो समझदार भी।
ऐसी तो सिर्फ एक ही राजकुमारी है कुंवर साहब, निमराणारी राजकुमारी पद्मा।
ये क्या कर रहे हो भाया? हटो पीछे। आपने मारी रक्षा की, इसलिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कुंवर साहब। तुम बोल सकते हो? ये तो तुम्हारे टैलेंट का सिर्फ एक छोटो सो नमूनो है। बोलिए, कौन सा दूं? लाल, पीला, हरा, नीला?
जो भी निमराना की राजकुमारी पद्मा को पसंद आ जावे।
अरे विवाह के लिए उनकी जो शर्तें हैं ना, उन्हें पूरा करना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है। हाय, ऐसी कौन सी शर्तें हैं?
So again, I think this was a show that started from a place of passion, went on to Cartoon Network. We actually produced this on our own, the first movie, subsequently reached on to Cartoon Network. Eventually, close to about 40 to 50 million kids just in India watched this, and in 2017, Netflix released it worldwide, and almost 200 million kids across the world have seen this. So again, I think the point I'm trying to make here is that even stylized animation eventually can find an audience, globally. And I think the audience today is seeking for differentiated content, and I think in that space, India has a lot to offer. I'm going to now dive into questions, and I'm going to ask a question to Soumitra first. Can we have mics on the floors? Because my next question is going to be from the audience. So Soumitra, I mean, the film that you are working on, obviously bold subject, very interesting. As a director, obviously the movie comes from a place of passion, a story that you are excited about. But when you wear your producer's hat, right, I'm sure you would have thought of who am I going to sell this to? What's your commercial model? How are you going to distribute the... any thoughts on that, or you're just taking a leap of faith right now?
So I don't actually think about that, about the commercial model, because it's not my job. Right. It's not my job to do that. I know that it has to be sold, and I understand that part. I like to completely concentrate on what I want to do, and it has actually, I've been lucky also. So all my work has been released. It has found, whatever platform or TV channel. So it's not that I've had a terrible, life living as myself. So at the moment, I'm not thinking of this at all, and I don't want to think about it, because then it starts bothering you. It starts.
Yeah, it does. I
affecting your
think
work also.
you need to differentiate, keep those
differentiate. So
roles.
let me finish this first, and then I'll think about
the commercial
aspect
part
of
it. Yeah, but do you feel something like this? The Indian audience is ready for something like this, to be seen in theaters, or do you feel somewhere that this will largely be an OTT play?
No, I think audience is not only ready; they are demanding this. It is not. It is the OTT platforms and the TV channels who are outdated in their thinking. Very honestly, because in India, animation started in 95. The satellite channels started in 95 approximately. So the kid who was about 4 years old at that time, he or she is now in their 20s, and they have grown up.
Gone through that, absolutely.
Watching animation.
There is a maturing audience that definitely has happened. They've grown up consuming animation.
My own kids are watching Horseback, BoJack
Horseman,
and
right.
Simpsons, and all these adult shows, and they are 18 now, little more. So the audience to hai, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Can we have a question from the audience? Are there any questions? Can we see some hands up? Yeah, one in the front row, please. Can we have the mic for the lady?
Hello, yes. First of all, lovely panel, and it was a treat to watch everything that we did on screen. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
My question is to everyone on the panel. As an Indian audience, how open are we to viewing stylized animation and live action, especially for theatrical releases? Because growing up, we've had only one film that had come out, which was Hum Tum, which did live action, but it had bits and pieces of animation, which
Right.
also were like very minuscule and peppered in parts. But with OTT, of course, the scope sort of expands a bit too much. But again, when it comes to, say, live action and a blend of 2D or, say, mixed media, these things are open for perhaps web shows or documentaries, especially for OTT. But especially when it comes to theatrical releases, are we open to viewing, say, an action happening on the screen and some sort of text coming in and going out, or is that only for like restricted audience which do have that kind of appetite?
Weber, you want to take a stab at that?
So I just felt that, use of animation should never be like a gimmick. It is not a tool that, okay, let me just try that. It should be natural if it is going to aid in the telling of the story and make the visual experience for the audience better. Then the storyteller uses that medium. That's how I see it. So why not? We have so many examples of live action and animation used so well globally. So I just feel it is a part of the creator's, it's a call that the creator takes. And as long as the creator is aware of the potential of both the mediums, live action and the potential that animation offers. So,
yeah. I'll share with you something that we had done many years back. And I think fundamentally what you need to realize is that it's never about the medium, it's about your story. If your story demands animation, absolutely by all means use it. The technique should never come first. It's always what you want to convey. And if you feel that animation is a better medium, by all means go for it. So there was a movie called Cash, which was produced by produced and directed by Anubhav Sinha. And I can now talk about this, but back in the day, what happened is that he had finished about 70–80% of the movie, and they had a problem where they could not shoot further, right? And he came to us with that edit of the film, and we could distinctly see there were holes in the film, right? And he said, I need a solution. And what we did is said that, if you were going to give us a liberty to, turn this around, we think we'll have a solution. So we saw the whole film. And what we did is that we set up the characters, right from the opening credits of the film as animated characters. So you see the real character walking in along with his animated avatar. So in the opening credit, you saw that, right? And then once the audience kind of got used to that, then wherever we had the holes in the narrative, we filled that using animation, right? So it seamlessly cut between animation and live action, and the audience bought it, right? This was, I can tell you this, it was not by design, right? But I can totally see something like this. Kill Bill is a fantastic example of that. There was a very, very graphic sequence that's happening that, the mother is getting murdered and the child is below the bed, and obviously a very gory scene takes place. But I think as a director, he chose that maybe this might be too graphic to shoot, but he still wanted to show that and say that, right? So he chose the medium of animation, and I think it's stellar what he's done with that particular sequence. I think it's still one of the best sequences that I have seen. Brilliant use of animation in a live action film. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Do we have other question, or I'm going to keep asking questions? Do we have a show of hands? Okay, right at the back.
Thanks. Is there any scope or have you explored the possibility of using Indian novels or short stories to turn into either short or feature-length animation?
So what you're saying, adapting a book
yes,
to,
exactly.
to animation. Okay, great question.
I'm actually doing one of that myself. I've partnered with a person here in India. I can't give out the name. We are in a confidentiality agreement. It's a very beautiful book, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm trying to convert that into a short film. So that is in the progress. So I'm definitely looking at collaborations with people. If you're writing, I'd love to see more of those adaptations. A lot of that happens in the West and in Europe to a great extent. I'd love to, obviously deal with that, and I know you're doing quite a bit of that.
We did a film called Gopi Gavaiya, Baga
Yeah.
Bajaiya, 6 years back, 8 years back, which was based on a short story in Bengali. My next feature film is actually based on Kabiliwala, which is a very well-known. Yeah. Rabindranath Tagore's.
No,
yeah,
it's
obviously.
Shukumar Rai, I think, father of Satyajit Ray, right? Gupiga in Baghabai.
Also, I want to give a big shout out to Ken Anderson that's here, and he's actually got a very beautiful book which is also being sold
Yes,
here
Tom
in India.
Gates.
And I was just amazed to learn that that book has sold so many copies, and then he's able to make, material out of it. He's made many series out of it, and then now he's in the process of making it into a feature. He's doing a lot of merchandising with that, and I absolutely want that for all of us here.
Yeah, can we have the mic in the front, please? Yes, Ken.
So, I'm losing my voice, so my apologies. As you raised the point there, we do go into illustrated children's books, graphic novels, comics, so we really plunder those in the West, in the UK, in France, in Japan, and in the US. So my question is, where are your sources of visual inspiration? Who are you drawing from when, sorry, this is terrible. Who are you drawing from? Where are those sources?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Krishish Baltiboy stories in the movies are all folk stories coming from folk literature of India. And there's an amazing amount of children's literature that exists in this country. Every state, like we've done Gopal Bhar stories, we've done Panchtantra stories, we are looking at stories, some amazing characters from Gujarat right now, which have been written. So Ramanujan, has written some wonderful children's stories, So I think there's a ton of literature, What we've done is we've contemporized that literature for the generation today. So I think, again, Krishish Baltiboy is a standard example. Ashish, you have a...
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that, we had Toonpur Ka Superhero, which was a combination of live action and animation. I did a movie called Sachin the Billion Dreams, and a whole lot of Sachin's problems we showed it in animation because whatever happened to his tennis elbow, to his back, to everything. So the use of animation and even the characters, many of the films we've used dream sequences in animation. So this is a prevalent practice. And as far as our books are concerned, I think most of the content that has been transformed, like even the Akbar Birbal stories, Tenali Ram, everything actually came from books. And we had Chanda Mama to Amar Chitra Katha. A large amount of them were used. Very effective one was Gopika and Baga Ban was transferred to Gopi Gavaiya Bajaiya. But apart from that, we also had a movie from Bengali literature called Lal Kalo, the red ants versus the black ants. And it was an amazing feature film. Like this, we have series of them which are coming from the folk stories and heritage stories of India, which is time and again been presented into animated form. So I think it's something which is going to continue as far as India is concerned. Many of the interpretations that are happening right now, they are also happening with the use of Indian heritage stories. And that's why I think you will continue to see some element of these interpretations coming through as you move forward in making the content.
Okay. I'm sorry, so we'll have to take that offline. We are all here. You can always grab us on the way out. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had fun moderating this one. A huge round of applause for our stellar panel, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping right into our women producers panel. We are not going to take a break. We're going to just jump right in because we're a little behind schedule. Are all the panelists?